say, how long had ye between two opinions? If the Lord be Yahawah, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answer him not a word. You see, he rebuked them, man. He said, you want to follow Caesar Borgia? You want to worship the so-called white man, or you want to worship the Most High? Because a lot of you out there, you run your mouth. You say, well, yo, we got to obey the government. You know what? Let me tell you. Daniel, right? And the other two brothers, right? Guess what? Did they obey what Nebuchadnezzar said? Did they obey? They did not. When Nebuchadnezzar told them this, they got to bow down to the golden image. What did I say? He said, not so, man. He said, we ain't going to do it. We are not doing it. Our people say, yeah, the law of the land. The law of the land say, you know, you can't be this, you can't do that. Okay, you want to follow the law of the land? Follow, buddy, you're going to die. Follow the law of the land, all right? You want to follow the law of the land? You want to obey the wicked? Understand that when you go read in the book of Romans, right? Paul was not talking about wicked government. Paul was talking about who? The righteous brothers. The righteous brother and sister. Those that are righteous, they understood. They're keeping the law, the commandment of the Most High, right? Those are government. Don't you understand that the brother that keep the law, the commandment of the Most High, they constitute a government on earth? They constitute a body. Don't you know when you take a look at the camps that you see, don't you know they're a government? They govern their body. So what do? They're teaching you. They're teaching you how to live, how you got to change, how do you change your evil way, how to return to the Most High. That's the government. Like, it's established by the Most High. That's what the Bible is talking about. The Bible was not talking about you got to listen to the wicked. The wicked tell you can kill your baby, you can do abortion, then you just go ahead and do it. No, man, you don't understand it. You got to be born again. Ye so-called black Latino, you ought to be born again, right? It's not talking about that. It's talking about what? Righteous brother and sister. They were set up as what? Leader. It just means government. They govern. They rule over you. Why? Because they're more righteous. They're more righteous, okay? Right? Christ will rule over us. David will rule over us. Solomon, Ezekiel, Isaiah. Why? Because they're more righteous than us. They're way more righteous than us. You got to understand. They're going to rule over us. Why? Because they're more righteous than us. You got to keep in mind, man. It's not talking about your wicked, dirty, filthy, nasty, corrupted government. It's not talking about that, man. It's talking about those that rehearse the righteous act, right? The law of the commandment. They teach the brother. They let them know that's the Most High. They constitute the government. All the camps, they constitute the government for the Most High. Because they're bringing out the rule of the Most High. They're letting you know that said the Most High and that said the Most High. So let's go back to it. He said, Elijah came unto all the people and said, how long halt ye between two opinions? If the Lord be Yahawah, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answer him not a word, because they know that he's righteous. They know he's telling the truth, man. Then said Elijah unto the people, I only remain a prophet of the Lord, but Baal prophets are 450 men. Let them therefore give us 2 bullocks, and let them choose 1 bullock for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay on wood, and put no fire under. And I will dress the other bullock, and lay on wood, and put no fire under. Right? Let's see. And call ye on the name of your God. You see, that's what you got to do, man. Listen, to you out there in the Christian church, call on the name of your God. The God of the Christian church, call on that God. On the day the Most High is going to snatch you, make sure you call it on that God. Make sure you call it on that God. You see what I'm saying? Make sure you call it on that God. All right? And I will call on the name of the Lord, and the Yahawah that answer by fire. Right? Let him be Yahawah. And all the people answered and said, it is well spoken. Right? It is well spoken. All right? And Elijah said unto the prophet of Baal, choose you 1 bullock for yourselves, and dress it first, for ye are many, You see that? And call on the name of your gods, but put no fire under. And they took the bullock which was given them, And they dressed it and called on the name of Baal from morning even until noon, saying, O Baal, hear us. But there was no voice, nor any that answered. And they leaped upon the altar which was made. And it came to pass at noon that Elijah mocked them. So Elijah was mocking them. He said, look at you, man. You're wasting your time, man. You're foolish. Don't be dumb. Don't be simple. Elijah was mocking them. He said, look at you. You're wasting your time. You're doing foolishness. All right? And it came to pass, 1 Kings 18 and verse 27. And it came to pass at noon that Elijah mocked them and said, cry aloud, for he is a God. Either he's talking, or he is pursuing, or he's in a journey, or peradventure he's sleeping and must be awake. Perhaps, maybe he's sleeping. Maybe you need to call him, keep on calling him. And they cry aloud. And they cry aloud and cut themselves after the manner with knives and lances. Imagine that. You see, that's what happened when you believe and you trust in idols. That's what happened, man. Right? Till the blood gush out upon them. Till the blood, imagine. What God tell you to do such thing? That's how you know it's not the Most High, that's Satan, man. To start cutting your own self and the blood gush out. Wow. And it came to pass, when midday was past, and they prophesied until the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that there was neither voice, nor any to answer, nor any that regarded. And Elijah said unto all the people, come near unto me. So Elijah's calling them. He said, you know what? You all need to come nigh to me. Come nigh unto me. Right? And all the people came near unto him, and he repaired the altar of the Lord that was broken down. Right? And Elijah took 12 stones. The 12 stones stand for the 12 tribes of Israel. Kwam Yashala. All right? According to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob. Right? Unto whom the word of the Lord came, saying, Israel shall be thy name. And with the stone he built an altar in the name of the Lord. And he made a trench about the altar as great as will contain 2 measures of seed. And he put the wood in order and cut the bullock in pieces. So he cut the bullock in pieces, right? And laid him on the wood and said, fill 4 barrels with water. So this brother, he take the bullocks, right? He slay the bullocks, man. He slay the bullocks and dress it. People that don't even want to do stuff like that. They be shaking, right? They be shaking with the knife. Why? Because Babylon already messed them up, man. Babylon the Great already messed up our people. Right? Our people be shaking. They be shaking. Right? Because they just go to the store and buy the defiled food, the defiled meat. They just go to the store, man. They just be shaking, right? He said, and he put the wood in order and cut the bullock in pieces and laid him on the wood and said, fill 4 barrels with waters and pour it on the burnt sacrifice and on the wood. And he said, do it the second time. And they did it the second time. And he said, do it the third time. And they did it the third time. And the water ran around about the altar. And he filled the trench also with water. And it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Lord YAHAWAH of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Isaac and of Israel, let it be known this day that thou art YAHAWAH in Israel, and that I am thy servant, and that I am thy servant, and that I have done all these things at thy word, right? So everything that the prophet, the brother was doing, the Most High commanded Elijah to do so. That's why Elijah, he did everything according to the will of the Most High, right? Let's read it. Hear me, O Lord, hear me, that these people may know that thou art the Lord YAHAWAH, And that thou hast turned the heart back again. You see that? The Most High is giving us another opportunity. Right? Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice, and the wood, and the stone, and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, the Lord is the Yahawah. The Lord is the Yahawah. So this thing got to happen for our people to believe. That's why Yahawashi said, blessed he that believe without sin. We got to believe fully with the Most High in the Most High, man. And Elijah said unto them, take the prophet of Baal, let not one of them escape. And they took them, and Elijah brought them down to the brook Kishon, right? And slew them there. There we go, man. He slew them. He put them to death. He put them to death. He put them to death. That's what we tell everybody. Repent and keep the commandment. Seek God. Seek God. Seek God. Don't do your own things. Don't do that, man. Don't do your own things. Don't do it. Don't do your own things. Don't do it. Don't do your own things. Don't do your own thing. See that? There we go, man. Do not do your own thing. And Elijah said unto Ahab, get thee up and eat and drink, for there is a sound of abundance of rain. There we go, brother and sister. That's why you don't want to tempt the Most High. Right? That's why, brother and sister, make sure you keep in the law, the commandment of the Most High. You got to make sure you keep in the law and the commandment of the Most High. Right? You got to make sure you keep in the law and the commandment of the Most High. You got to make sure. Right? You got to make sure you keep in the law and the commandment of the Most High. For there is no time to play game with the Most High, man. There's no time. There is no time to play game with the Most High. So with that, we'll give all honor, glory, power unto the Most High, Yahawah. We do so through Yahawashi HaMashiach. And we say, Kwam Yashala, Kwam Yashala, Kwam Yashala. All right? Repent and keep the commandment. So we got to make sure, right? As a nation, we got to repent and keep the commandment. We got to make sure we repent and we keeping the commandment of the Most High. If you ain't doing it yet, you got to make sure you're keeping the commandment. If you ain't keeping the commandment of the Most High, this is a high time that you start keeping the commandment of the Most High. This is a high time you start keeping the commandment of the Most High. Right? You got to make sure you're doing that set of Most High. You got to make sure you're doing that set of Most High. You got to make sure. Right? So with that, we give our praises. Right? We give our praises, we give glory, honor, power be unto the Most High Yahawah. And we do so through Yahawashi HaMashiach. And we say shalom to all the kings, to the king man here. We say shalom to Director Harris for being there online watching. We appreciate you for the work you be out there watching, learning. And the Most High strengthen you and give you more wisdom. Wisdom upon wisdom, brother, sister. Wisdom upon wisdom to our family, right? Shalom, and Lord willing, tomorrow we'll be back at it. Lord willing, tomorrow we'll be back at it. Stay in the spirit and let the brother know we got to repent with the Israelite. Let us walk with the Most High. Keep the commandment and do righteousness. Keep the commandment and do righteousness. Shalom.